They say there's a first time for everything. And early in my career, I marked a first time. It was the first time I left home alone. It was from a Pheasant Run play called My Daughter, Your Son. It starred Ann Sothern. You know, Ann Sothern and other actors who were kind of at the tail end of their careers made another career of traveling to different dinner theaters all over the country. Dinner theaters were a big thing, especially in small towns. Pheasant Run was a dinner theater. So Ann Sothern came with her aide and the script that she wanted to do, and our producer, Carl Stone, welcomed her and gave her everything she required, and I was cast as the co-star. It's a wonderful part. Dodie Goodman did it on Broadway. And it was a fun play. The two women were rivals. My daughter and her son were getting married. Well, after the run, which was successful, Anne, being a businesswoman, booked a tour of 4 cities and used me and the daughter and the son. We had to always find another man for the husband. We were in 3 Midwestern cities, but the one I remember the most was a city in Georgia, I think it was Birmingham, where they restored an old theater from 19th century. They restored it as it was. The Women's Guild in that town had a passion for finding the exact replica of the wallpaper and the cushions on the seats, and it was an event. And this play was to open this new theater. The people in the town were very hospitable. We were invited to their homes for after-theater parties. And one thing to this day was I learned to like grits. And at one of the parties, the woman had her own recipe where she added a little Parmesan cheese and garlic. And that's a very good way to eat grits. Not so boring. To this day, it's one of my favorite dairy side dishes. And another thing I loved was visiting the antebellum mansions. They had tours in the city. This was during the summer. And I learned so much about why the architecture in these mansions were, and how they were designed to get the best of the breeze and exposures. There was always a gallery, wide gallery, as you may have known the horses went through in the Civil War, from the front door to the back door. So there was always a current of air going through. And the way the trees were planted to give shade was very interesting. But I loved looking at the furnishings and accessories of how people lived. And then we saw that in the backyard there was always a shack where the laundry and the cooking was done and brought into the manse by the servants. You know, that was the same thing in Abraham Lincoln's home in Salem, Illinois, when he was already a legislator. They had a shack in the back where the help prepared the meals and did the laundry. But you know, his wife, Mary Todd, she was a Southerner. I guess that's what she was accustomed to. Well, that tour to me was like a vacation. I didn't feel like I was working. I was on my own. I made my own plans, and then every evening I had the fun of performing, and came back home refreshed and ready to assume all my other duties.